Hey there, so for this week's Blackboard post, the question is, if it were up to you, what should the exit strategy for the war on terrorism be? Can the war on terror ever end, and if so, how? What should the U.S. do, if anything, to discontinue the use of armed force against suspected terrorists? Can there ever be peace again? So as for an exit strategy for the war on terrorism, since it's not a typical war, it's hard to have an exit strategy since our troops are all over the Middle East. As we saw before, when our troops left, ISIS sprung up, and that became another big issue. That exit strategy obviously didn't work. So I think if there is going to be an exit strategy, we need to not have an end date on when our troops are going to be out, because then the terrorists can just be dormant until we leave, and then they can come and spread their terror again. So I think that would be a change to exit strategy I would make. And if the war on terror can ever end, I think that terrorism is going to be a problem for a long time. I don't see in the near future it ending. There's obvious problems that need to be fixed. It's just going to take a while to fix the issue, so I don't think that anytime soon it's going to end. In the future, maybe. But I think there's going to have to be a turning point. The rate we're going now and the rate terrorists are going now, I don't see it ending. And what should the U.S. do, if anything, to discontinue the use of armed force against suspected terrorists? It's really hard trying to use diplomacy against terrorism, I think, because terrorists don't use diplomacy. They use armed force against others, so it's hard to not use armed force against someone who's using it against you. It's like hitting someone a pillow when they're hitting you with a gun. It just doesn't work. So I think that I honestly don't even know what to do to discontinue the use of armed force. Try diplomacy, but I don't think that diplomacy will work against terrorism. So, and can there ever be peace again? I think that there's always going to be issues in the world. There's always going to be war, unfortunately. I think it's just kind of trying to minimize that and to try and spread as much peace as possible. But I don't think that there'll ever be a time that's just all peaceful in the world, unfortunately.